Welcome back to another episode of Find the Line, presented by Against the Grain Design and Print, where we dive into real stories with real racers, the successes, the hardships, and everything in between, with your co-hosts Logan Cipala and Joe Falde. Produced by Luke Cipala, it all starts right here, right now, on Find the Line.
Yeah, and we can do anything. Mama said it's true, and I put that on everything. Mama told me one day I'ma blow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to sit where shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, cause they'll get you through this so-called life.
All right, my brothers and sisters, it's a little throttle therapy session time tonight. We are really gonna have some good times. We got a guy on tonight that's been doing some bar banging with 895. The dude that's on tonight, I mean, when I think of him, I think single track. I think just epic photos, man. Some travel adventures that we got to hear more about. Part-time Hillclimb guy, that gets you on here. That's sick. Not to mention trail boss at what I've been told, one of the best events in Wisconsin or, the upper Midwest. Just unbelievable. Not only epic guest, word in the street, our guest has something caught in his chain. So that's something to look forward to. Also, side quests from 895. I want to find out how many hours at Foley is Logan just looking through and finding epic pictures, because it's just Insta left and right. I mean, he's got his own photo gallery every week. It's insane. But ladies and gentlemen, this week, one of my favorite people I've ever rode with. Dude is just silky smooth and fast. Always loves those two strokes. You know him, the number 100. He's 100 photo. It's Jack Maki. How's it going, Jack?
Pretty good, Joel. It's quite an intro.
No, dude, no. Look at that's just we're just touched the spear on your life, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Whereabouts in the planet are we reaching you?
I'm at home in Oak Grove, Minnesota.
Oak Grove, oh man,
hour north of the cities.
Oak Grove, Minnesota. That sounds like Little House on the Prairie stuff. Oak Grove. That's Pa, can you go get some water? I'm too old. You guys never even seen that show.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. Do you have to walk to town for feed, Jack? Is that where you're at?
It's not quite that far out, but
well, I know
one
you're
of the
not...
craziest things, Joel, is one of my longtime college roommates, of the very, very few people I met at UMD and kept in contact with throughout my time there, was actually from the bordering town, which is St. Francis, like right away, and probably I think he went to the same high school as Jack even. So probably just a little bit too old to be in school with him at the same time, but talk about a small world.
Is that a rival town, Jack? Do you hate everybody from that town?
No, that's where I went to school. So
okay,
it's kind of the same deal.
That's no fun. Luke's always wants us with the controversy. He really wants like some sort of like Bloods and Crips stuff. So that would help us out a bunch.
Well, we can bring up some controversy right here. If there were, we need to make a public apology to one of our sponsor, or to our only sponsor last week. If there were any microphone audio issues, Luke just forgot to plug his in somehow and screwed up everything for the week. So if there's any issues, blame him.
Yeah, as you'll notice, all the crappy audio quality from last week, only on one track, buys a $300 mic and can't figure out how to plug it in right. Somehow we didn't notice, but at least it's not a podcast where audio is super important or anything. So we did get lucky there.
And then just to prove the point, we had to call out to him that the empty box was sitting behind him on camera for the last two episodes, right, Luke?
Yeah, Logan says he swears he knows how to work it, but just the box is just sitting behind him, happenstance.
For those that are fans and listen, my Insta story where I had the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan totally coked up, just going wild and saying that we were close to it in the green room. Luke and Logan were going at each other's throats. It was epic.
It's what they call foreshadowing, Joel. We just forgot to hit record for the good stuff.
Yeah, it was the best show ever. It was awesome. Oh, man. I would say right now, Logan, don't mess with our producer because he can make our lives look really bad, okay?
Yeah, he's going to start chopping clips and making us say stuff we didn't say, so we should be careful.
Next thing you know, Logan's going to have all kinds of social groups after him for the stuff he said. Luke will get that controversy that he's been waiting for.
Yep.
Oh, man. Well, Jack, so are you a native? Your whole life, have you been in Oak Grove there?
Yep. Lived in the same house my whole life.
Awesome. You know what? I love that. I think having roots is something that not just everybody has. You know, Logan and Luke, born and raised in the same house pretty much their whole life. I think actually when you were born, Logan, your dad was a Minnesota resident, I guess, but dang close. But it's just awesome having home.
You had to point out the fact I am a native-born Minnesotan at one point, which is pretty embarrassing. But I mean, most people don't know.
I saw how much fun Luke was having picking on you, and I had to join in. I mean, that's how it goes.
It's brutal.
You're making me feel bad for being a Minnesota guy.
You should.
Do you take offense to being called a mud duck, Jack? Is that an offensive term?
I honestly can't say I've ever heard that before. So
that's a term that Wisconsinites refer to Minnesotans as is mud ducks. But you're far enough from the metro. It's kind of like people that hate Illinois. They don't hate Illinois. They hate Chicago, right? Like it's not Illinois. Illinois is awesome. It's Chicago that sucks. You know, it's like Minnesota's awesome. It's Minneapolis that's terrible. Okay, so that's just how that goes.
I can agree with that.
So Oak Grove, what's the scene like there? I mean, it sounds like a smaller community. Growing up, or are you guys out in the country?
We're kind of in in a neighborhood. I mean, we got I think it's 2.25 acres. So
nice.
Growing up, I've done a million laps around our house on, little bikes and all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, as far as, people around here, I think on the street that I live on, live 2 different, AA champions.
What?
Or maybe not champions, but riders.
Wow.
And one went to the ISDE, and then just off of down the road is a national flat tracker from, the mid 2000s. And
okay.
So yeah,
I'm going to need you to bottle up a few gallons of that Oak Grove water. Next time I see you, there's got to be something in that water, huh?
Yeah. It's kind of weird. My dad started riding dirt bikes in the early 2000s or late 90s, and would go to the races, and you'd see the same van driving by our house that he sees at the races, and you want to talk to him at the next race, and come to find out they live 1/4 mile down the road and super fast, back in the day. And pretty sweet. Actually, I take that back. That guy has 3 sons that have been multi-time AA riders in D23. So
sick. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Serious speed close by.
Yeah. So you didn't have a choice. I mean, it was like there's no baseball, hockey for you. It's bikes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, ever since I started riding, it's been my favorite thing. So never really had any interest in anything else.
How old were you when you started, when your dad got you riding? Was it on a motorcycle, or are you young enough where there was any electric bike involved or anything? Or
nope. So I went from, my dad told me when I was 4 years old, as soon as you can ride a bicycle without the training wheels, we'll put you on the PW. So yeah, I still remember the day in the yard. My brother put me on his bicycle. I rode down the hill and, made a lap, came back up to the garage, and Dad was taking the training wheels off of my bike, and we were getting ready to go ride the PW in the yard. So
sick. What did you hit? What'd you hit? What'd you run into?
I don't know. I don't remember hitting anything. I think it was
come on. Everybody ran into the cherry tree or the milk house or the neighbor's car or something.
We don't have a whole lot of trees or anything in our yard, so it's pretty much just a wide open space to do some laps in.
Boys, maybe that's why he's so damn fast, is he didn't get the fear right away. In my first 35 seconds of riding a motorcycle, I found out that you can come to a sudden stop real quick. Maybe Jack didn't experience that for a while, so you don't have that internal fear. Am I onto something here?
I don't know, maybe.
We never got down to what Luke hit. I know Luke hit something.
You ran right into the brick wall of our house.
Oh, that's right. No, we did get into that. Mm-hmm. See, I was trying to get.
We were talking about that last week, I think.
I just had to give Logan a little ammo. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Luke picks the hardest substance known to man to run into. Good job, Luke.
Yeah.
So the P-Dub, that was your first steed?
Oh, yeah.
Can you still remember the smell?
I don't know about that.
All right.
I mean, I remember riding it for sure.
Okay. You mentioned your brother. You got some brothers and sisters, or one brother, or what do you got for siblings?
Yep, I got an older brother that's, I think, 3 years older than me, and then a younger sister who's just under 2 years younger than me.
Okay, cool. Was it a family ordeal for you guys? Did everybody like bikes, or?
Yeah, so like I said, my dad got into dirt bikes, and I mean, he kind of grew up around them, and then went away for a little bit and came back to it when he was a little bit older. But yeah, I got my brother PW when he was whatever 5, and then he rode a bunch. Then I started riding, and we kept going after that. My sister got into riding a little bit later, and
okay,
yeah.
Did you have to ride your brother's PW, or did he destroy it so much that you didn't get a chance?
Nah, he's pretty easy on bikes, so yeah, I just got the hand-me-down PW.
Okay. As a younger brother, I know how that goes. You know, the older brother gets all the good laps, and then it comes to you, and it's all roached out, no brakes. Only turns left, right? So it's like I know how that goes. But it sounds like you had a good older brother that didn't do you too dirty.
Yeah, and I think about at least 50% of the bikes that I had growing up were all hand-me-downs from him. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right. You got bikes. That's all that matters, right?
Yep.
When you guys were little then, was your dad riding with you, or was it once you guys started, did he get off of it, or in that time period, was he riding with you guys?
Oh yeah, he's ridden the whole time.
Okay.
He doesn't ride quite as much anymore, but yeah, I mean, like the whole time growing up, it'd be all 3 of us would go riding, and he'd do some of the enduros and stuff, and yeah, I ended up riding a lot with my dad when we were younger. Actually, I mean, like my brother kind of got out of it when he was like getting off at an 85, and then it was just me and dad going riding all the time, and that was pretty fun.
Man, those memories are just that solid gold. I mean, that's just, life just doesn't get any better than that. And it goes both ways. I mean, your dad's just pumped because he's got a riding buddy, right? Mm-hmm. And now you get to go ride with your dad. And it's like, we're all working people. It's like your dad, that was probably a good release for him, just to be with his kids and hang out. I mean, how fun is that to make those memories?
Oh, yeah.
Was there a racing aspect, or did you just ride for a while, or were you guys around, or were you riding in races when you were younger, or how did that aspect go?
Yeah, so like my dad and my brother would do the off-road races, like the enduros and stuff, and I think I started racing maybe the year after I started riding. I think I was 6.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I was 5. But yeah, pretty much started racing right away and never quit.
So this is a tough question, but think back, like when you're a little Jack, little Grom, right? And you got the opportunity. Were you more excited to do the races, or do you think you were more excited to just be a part of the event? Like just to be able to go with and to be with your buddies, and what was more exciting as a little kid for you?
I don't know. I think it was both. I mean, I love riding. I've always loved riding. I've always loved racing. And yeah, I mean, then, like you say, you get there on Saturday, you hang out with your buddies all day. And then, after your race, you're back hanging out with them, watching the big bike races. And yeah, I mean, the whole experience is just always so fun.
How did it work? Now you off-road guys, this gets touchy, but the gas stop situation. I mean, are you even allowed at this point to fuel your dad, or how does that all work?
Well, so see, that's the thing is he's never been a Harescramble guy.
Okay.
So I've never had to do that for him.
Okay.
Yeah, lucky.
Yeah. I have a feeling it could cause some tension if that was in the contract.
Little 6-year-old trying to lift up a 5-gallon gas can. I could just see him trying to break your back and pick it up that high.
I've only been a spectator to this for the most part because growing up, we just hill climbed and you put gas in it in the spring and it was probably good till fall, right? But boy, have I been and seen some traumatic fuel stops in the Cipala family. Logan, is there any that come to mind?
I was just going to say, you can't even say you've been a spectator. You've been an active participant.
Oh, no.
I think I heard about this at the GP.
Yeah. my first ever Harescramble that I had to do a pit at, Dan and Joel were so wound up to get the gas in as fast as they could, they forgot to make sure that the spout was in the gas tank. And they just poured the gas all over the bike in my lap. My bike was steaming like someone pressure washed it from gasoline. You're lucky they didn't light me on fire.
I mean, I could taste the disappointment in the air, Jack. It was really bad. There's only one other one that tops it, and that's when I came in. I think it was at what's that place you did the snow biking at, Logan? What's that park called?
ERX.
At ERX, and Luke was there racing, and Carissa had enough of Luke's gas can situation.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you had for a gas can situation, Luke, at that time?
The sad thing is I don't even remember what it was, but
it was like
probably don't want to remember.
It was like a VP can, and like there was no hose. There was just like a little stub that got broke off.
Yeah. I remember that one.
You had to put your finger over it and then like do it. And Carissa, in a few words, is like, that ain't happening. Like we got to take this more seriously. And I think she spun a cap off one of their cans for Luke. She's like, we are not going to allow this to happen.
That can did fill up a bike fast, though. If you got it to work right,
I can imagine.
Just had to be used right.
It was operator error.
That was also the same day that I saved your life because during the I was mechanicking, and in the pre-warm-up, there was about 5 bolts about ready to fall out of your front wheel. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that too.
I got an interesting gas stop thing from back in the day. When I was on a 65, they obviously didn't make big tanks for them or anything, and like I would just barely not quite be able to do an hour. So my dad would have to put in, like say basically a quart of gas in at some point.
Okay.
So yeah, he used his kind of engineering mind and took like one of the old Listerine bottles and put like a piece of like radiator hose on it and would just like flip that thing over, dump it in. It was like the fastest fuel up ever.
Yes, Dad! Awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Your dad killed it.
We're at the Carver Harescramble one year, and I guess there was some guy that works for like Listerine or company that makes up bottles or whatever. And we're doing the pit stop, and the guy's like runs over. He's like, I gotta get a picture of this. So yeah, there's a picture out there somewhere of me on my 65 with my dad dumping gas in with a Listerine bottle.
That's awesome.
And then to nobody's surprise, the next year we show up there and they have some big sign that says like no milk jugs, no plastic bottles, just fuel jugs.
you guys are the reason that safety sticker or don't do this is that you were the origin story there.
Yep.
I guess.
Oh man. Oh, your dad killed it though. That's awesome. Well, your dad is the opposite of me and Todd. Okay, because we fail. We're not gas stop people.
Yeah, man. If he was around at that race, I don't know. He might have kicked you guys out and just started doing it himself or something.
The best was when when Todd and I almost started Logan on fire, and then he took off. Todd and I like looked at each other, and we wanted to be like, it was okay, and we just kind of stared at each other and shook our head, and we're like, let's just go back to the van. Like we were both just so disappointed in each other. We just couldn't get over it.
It had to be a very quiet next couple minutes, I imagine.
It was very quiet. Oh man. See, this is what I love about the side stories on the racing. It's not about the guy hammering the 2-hour moto that's risking his life against every tree. It's about the two guys debating whether to start drinking beer that are going to put gas in his bike, right?
There's
Oh,
definitely
man.
some times when I wish I could be in the pits for some of the entertainment.
Oh, that's good. I hope someday to kind of get into that single track life because I love that environment and it's just so dang fun. But so District 23 growing up, you were neck deep in it. Sounds like you guys were going to quite a few races as a family and making memories.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how many years it was, but we would do like all the enduros, most of the Harescrambles, pretty much every time there was a race, we'd be there, and yeah, it was always fun.
When did the number 100? When did that come around? How young were you when you started running the 100?
So that's kind of a funny story. So like, I don't think that off-road had numbers until like probably 2011 or so.
Okay.
But before that, I was riding just a couple of motos here and there.
Okay.
And yeah, I'd just gotten this. I don't know if you guys ever have heard of a LEM 50.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
they were big in Hillclimb for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I had one of those. My dad was gonna get me graphics, and I didn't have a number, so he got the list of available numbers from the district, and I remember him. I remember it clear as day. I got a phone call from him, and he gave me a list of numbers to pick from, and I'm like, oh, 100 sounds pretty cool. And then, so we got on the bike and whatnot, and then the year that they implemented the off-road numbers, like, started going to them, and, everybody got their number the first year. And I remember somebody talking about Matt Stavish, and it's like all, worked up about that somebody stole his number. Because he, like, since the 80s, Matt was always number 100.
Oh,
and like,
yikes.
I don't even know if I knew about that. I just thought it was such a cool number. Come to find out that I stole his number. So then that's how he ended up with the 102.
Oh, yikes. Okay. That's happened to a few people.
I think he's pretty cool with it.
I am dangerously close, and I'm playing with fire because every series I just assume no one's going to take my number. And it's like it's riding the edge of being arrogant, but I'm like, enough people know me that no one's going to pick my number. One of these years I'm going to get freaking bit because I just do it with District 23 and Rockwell, and like I'm safe for the other series, but I'm like, one of these years it's going to kick my ass and I'm going to be so mad, and it's like I'm going to be able to blame nobody. So I'm going to be feeling Matt's feelings here in the near future.
That's why I started going District 16 instead of District 23, is because no matter what your number was, you could just sign up Jan 1 and whoever signed up got it. Or in Wisconsin, they'd always honor your number or whatever. And I'd go in to sign up and they'd be like, well, you didn't sign up on January 1st. I'm like, but I gave you money last year. Isn't that worth something? Like, can't you just hold it for 1 year? It's like, and every year was the same thing. It was like some little kid, just like you but they had like mailbox stickers with the number 31. And then I'd have a pie plate over my graphics with whatever random number I had to run, just drove me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep. You got to be on top of it.
Got to be on top of it. When you were with your dad then, did you guys do any traveling out of Minnesota, or did you stay pretty local?
I would say until I was on like an 85, we pretty much stayed Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then, yeah, like once I was kind of old enough to be able to, ride some more technical terrain, I think one of my first real like out of state trips would have been down to it's called the Woody Ride at White Rock in Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
Big trail ride that happens every spring usually. And my dad had gone, I don't know how many times before that. And, always talked about how cool it was and stuff. So yeah, I think that was probably one of my first longer trips.
That's gotta be some sick terrain down there.
Like in the mountains, like
right.
just gnarly, rocky, you got creek beds everywhere and gnarly hill climbs, and yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. My parents have a house in eastern Texas, and it's not far from Texarkana is right there or whatever. And it's
Mhm.
not like the topography that I thought. It's really cool. Like the ground
Mhm.
around there is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you'd like White Rock a lot, being kind of a hard enduro guy these days.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard a lot about White Rock or
Yeah.
something like that down there, and I know that they've some trials guy used to do a U.S. hard enduro somewhere in Arkansas. They did like
Mm.
regional ones. Um, so, and I wanted to go down to it one of the years, and never happened, and then it hasn't been back on the schedule. But if there's some of the videos I saw look really cool, so that'd be a cool area to go down and check out at some point. It's really not that far away either. Like to get down to that area, you're only talking probably what 12, 14 hours.
Yeah, it's probably 12 hours.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be good fun.
what was the travel situation? What did you guys run down in? Were you van life family, or what was the Maki family mobbing down to Arkansas in?
Yeah, pretty much the whole time I've been riding my dad's head van. So yeah, I
Cool.
think it was me, dad, and one of our other buddies locally
Okay.
here that went down there.
How freaking excited were you on that road trip? That had to just be epic.
It was pretty sweet. Like I think now that I think of it, I think I was 15, so I had my permit, so I was getting lots and lots of those practice hours that they want you to get before you get your
Mhm.
license.
Oh, right, exactly. How old a guy are you, Jack? I guess I didn't know. How old, if you don't mind me saying, how old are you right now?
I'm 24 this year.
You're 24. So, you think 9 years ago, here you are making memories with your dad. To other moms and dads listening, if you're contemplating going on that trip, take your kids and go, right, Jack? Like
Yeah.
that memory, it will probably be with you till you're gone, right? Was it just epic?
Yeah, I mean, and we've done, quite a few different trips. Like I think we went to White Rock twice and then went to Oklahoma once. He's came with me to a couple of national enduros, and we've been to a few different places. So
Oh, absolutely. But that's what
yeah,
spurred it. I mean, that's
yeah,
the thing is like, and the thing is that traveling aspect, it's not for everybody. There are people that hate it, right? And it's good to find out when you're 15 if you don't like it, right? Because
Mhm.
then you're not going to waste a whole lot of time in your life. But for people like, and I'm going to speak, I don't like to do this, but I'm going to speak for Logan and Luke and yourself. We love that shit, right? Like that.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't wait to go on a road trip. I'm just pumped about
Oh
it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you guys were down there, that was just a trail ride though in Arkansas. It wasn't a race aspect. It's just like a Tileman type of situation.
Yeah, pretty similar deal. Like they have a whole group of people. It's actually a lot of people from the Midwest that go down there for that ride because, it's usually in March or April, so
Okay.
you can't really ride around here, but
Right.
that's not too bad of a drive down there. So yeah,
Right.
just some preseason riding.
Awesome. So when you're 15, you're going down there. What were you on? Were you like a buck and a quarter, or what were you riding about
Yep.
then?
Yep, I had my dad's hand me down 08 YZ125.
Ooh, nice. Oh, that's a man's bike
Yeah.
right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty epic.
Those are
That-
such awesome bikes.
Yeah.
what is the
so
one you
fun.
have now?
The 125,
Yeah,
it's 2001.
2001. Man, that's like freedom right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that was such a fun bike. That was my first real like frame up build, and yeah, it was so fun. Actually, just earlier I was out in the garage doing some jetting and trying to get that thing dialed in for Tom this weekend. So
Ooh, nice.
Well,
Awesome.
we
Yeah.
got to do this fall, Jack. When high water gets good, I'll bust Big Bobby's 2000 YZ125 out of the garage for a weekend without telling anybody, and we'll go.
I was gonna say, you sure you're allowed to do that?
No, I'm not sure. But we don't. What they don't know won't hurt them. So we'll just sneak it down off the shelf and bring it down and ride it for a day,
There we go.
because that would be epic.
That's
Now
awesome.
battle the early 2000s YZs. Huh?
Yep.
Well, I think Luke and I will film. Right, Luke?
Yep, that sounds good to me.
So what were you racing at this time when you're a teenager? Are you doing single track stuff, enduro? You'd said, when you're real little, maybe did a couple motos, but what were you racing when you were in your teens like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think from the time I was on a 65 to till I was probably like 18 or 19, I strictly did off-road stuff.
Okay.
So
Yep.
it's all the enduros, and then just at that time it was kind of select Harescrambles, the ones that I liked and
Okay.
wanted to go to.
All right, Joel. So I'm on Moto Tally right now, which is the online results logbook.
Okay.
We've got results all the way back to 2010.
Wow.
He's doing like
Which
8
was
races.
the first year of Moto Tally.
Yeah. So you definitely were from before that, but we've got like 8 races in 2010, 5 and 11, another 8 to 10 and 12. Looks like 13 to 15 and 16 were a little light. And then we start picking back up in 18 and 19 and doing almost the whole series. So
nice.
we've got some serious single track racing, and that's only Harescramble. So that doesn't include any enduro racing.
Wow.
Yep.
So we've put some time in.
That's impressive, Jack. That's awesome, man.
That's hundreds of hours of racing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think every one of those races is at least an hour.
Yep.
Dang.
That's a lot of fresh top ends.
Oh my God.
I've done a few of them, yeah.
What do you prefer, the enduros or the Harescrambles, or what suits you better?
I think I can pretty definitively say enduros.
Enduros.
Like yeah. I mean, I don't think any of you guys have done them before, but I mean, compared to a Harescramble is, you're kind of there all day, you're kind of waiting around, and then it's wide open for 2 hours, and then you're done. Where an enduro, it's, you wake up in the morning, you're starting your race at 9, you're doing a section that's, anywhere from 5 to 15 miles, and then you stop and you hang out and wait to go into the next section. So it's like super social, which I really like about it. Like you get done with this section and you go and catch up with your buddies and talk about the section, talk about how their day is going, like, talk about, oh man, you remember that, cool spot in the woods with the, couple of whoops that you could kind of double, or, that super cool corner back there, or, oh, did you get caught up in that rock garden? Or, like that type of stuff is just, it's so fun to me. And then like, you can, with it being split up and having that little bit of a break, you can go be so much more intense, while you're actually doing the racing part. Okay. And then I also like that it's more mileage. Like usually it's 50, 60 miles throughout the day, and you just feel like you cover a lot more ground compared to a Harescramble where it's, maybe 12-mile course and you're just pounding laps on it and it gets totally beat up and nasty. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think enduros are so much fun.
I've never rode one, but like the trail conditions for an enduro, because I mean, you're scaring me now because I'm so used to hearing hard enduro, and that just terrifies me. But like what's the typical trail condition to like someone that I've rode some single track for Harescrambles? What is an enduro? Are they comparable?
It's like really good. It's like the trail if you're, row 20 at an enduro, it's about like, what it is at the end of the C race.
Okay.
So like pretty smooth, like it's got some lines in it, but it's not getting totally beat up. And you only go over every section once.
Oh wow.
Usually.
Okay.
So
wow.
you're constantly just reading trail and picking lines on the fly, and you're not memorizing anything because you're not going to be, going back over the same trail.
Right. Wow, that's difficult.
Yeah. That's another thing that I really like about it is like I've gotten good at reading trail that's completely fresh to me.
Right.
And it's just so much fun. Like, you'll find a couple of lines and it's just like it feels so good when you catch something and it cuts off a little bit of time or sets you up really good for a corner, and you're not even planning for it but you just see it. That stuff is really fun.
Yeah, that's super
And then
cool.
and then to think of like the National Enduro guys that are picking one of those lines every 3 corners, it just blows my mind.
Uh, it's got to be so good for your riding ability if you do it a lot, because you're just constantly looking forward, constantly just making those instant decisions. That it's so hard to do, you know. So I mean, if you're constantly doing it, you're going to get better at it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow,
I kind of like the idea of that part of it too, where like you can't go and walk the whole loop and then try to memorize it like the day before. Like you're not going to go and memorize 60 miles of trail the day before or something, you know. That
Yeah,
part is
definitely.
sweet, because that's kind of one of the, and then even I guess you guys probably ride some of the similar trail, but like the Harescramble stuff, you get so used to riding, it's the same. You just can memorize the whole lap, and then it almost becomes like motocross in a way. You know what corner's up next and what's coming later. And I kind of like the idea of having a little bit more fresh and looking at it blind. So I've got it on my list to try one. I need to do one some summer. You've been hounding me for years, and I've got nothing but excuses.
Yeah, got to drag Joel out with you.
Yeah,
they got to have an old man's class too, I'd imagine, right? It's not just all
They
double,
got 'em.
triple, quadruple A shit or whatever. I don't know, whatever that is.
Oh, they got every class you could think of. We got
All
a
right.
70+ class if you're
Perfect. Only a few more years.
what we'll do, Joel, in your class, you
Yeah.
have to line up by yourself, and then they drop AAA, which is a step above AA, right behind you. You get 1 minute of peace, and then you're in it.
And it's just everybody just bar banging me, just getting me the hell out. I ride a wide bike, so they're gonna be in trouble.
So what you're saying is we got to put Joel on row 19. Or no, not row 19, row 9. The AA's usually start at 10.
Yeah. Row 9.
My anxiety's already. I need a beer. Like I can't handle this. I'm already getting
Just
nervous.
think, Joel, once a minute you'll have a AA rider passing you.
Oh God, and they won't be happy. You know, they won't like me. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
When my bud Ryan Wyatt, he's promoted SOAR, I think it is, in Canada. That's sprint enduro, right, Logan?
Yeah.
I wonder what the difference between that is, like the sprint enduro and just a regular enduro.
Yeah, so usually a sprint enduro is shorter sections and you run them multiple times.
Okay.
And you run one at a time. Like you go one at a time, where our enduros, it's 4 to 5 people per row.
Okay.
Once every minute, and they're longer sections.
Okay. Cool. Ryan just said they're so fun.
Yeah, the sprint enduro is one I really want to do. The problem is they're all so far away, and then like you don't get a ton of riding time at them either. I think it's like maybe 45 minutes a day, like at the national ones. So it's like to drive that far to do a short lap for 45 minutes is kind of a bummer. But like the format with most of the enduros here now, aren't they kind of like our local ones are kind of a sprint enduro type format with like enduro trails? Because like you don't have to time keep like you used to, right? Because I know that there's like a big deal with enduros back in the day and the timekeeping stuff, which is, it's been really interesting to me. And that was what always intimidated me from trying one.
Yeah. And so nowadays they use what's called the national format. So, I mean, it's basically like a Harescramble. You just go as fast as you can until the end of the section, where before you'd have to maintain a speed average, 18, 24, 30 miles an hour. And then if you went too fast, you'd get docked. And then if you went too slow, you'd lose points too. So yeah, it's way more rider friendly now.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Logan. That always made me anxious because you had the paper roll on your thing, and I was like, I barely graduated high school. Like I can't be doing math while I'm riding my bike. I can't do that kind of stuff, right?
Trying to read and ride dirt bike, you'd just be in the trees.
Nope, can't do it. Just to try to look at my Apple Watch at high water, I've almost just took myself out so many times. I can't be looking at no paper spool dodging trees. That's not going to happen.
It just amazes me how well people like Craig Holosic, one of our local guys that's won, I don't even know how many enduro championships. Like he was so good at those timekeeping enduros. I don't understand either how you do it.
Yeah. I just think that's what makes the two-wheel sport of dirt bikes so goddamn epic. It's just all the different disciplines, you know? You're just talking about enduro, which sounds so much different than Harescramble, and then hill climb to motocross to supercross to arena cross to we're just touching on all the different disciplines to dual sport, all these things. It's like that's why dirt bikes just frickin' rule. And it still blows my mind that there's just not more of an audience for like the very top level series, because it's just unbelievable what's possible on a frickin' dirt bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I just a little bit of like Gypsy Tales listening, and you know, like when they talk about like the injury level and whatnot of the riders and everything that goes on, it's just like, man, dirt bikes just got something special. Like we have something that nobody else has. It's just we're so unique. It's like it's almost like a damn secret. Like nobody, you know. So it's fun. I love hearing about the different. Like now, I want to go ride a freaking enduro. You know, it's like you read stuff in the AMA magazine. I'm trying to pick stuff up, but when you really talk to somebody, that's when you get the nuts and bolts of it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Just so cool how, I mean, for me, that's what keeps me from getting burnt out and doing the same stuff. It's like I get to go, you know, I've done like 4 or 5 different disciplines already this year. And just in the last 3 weeks, Jack, you've done 3 different between the GP, the Harescrambles, and Hillclimb. It's like, that's what keeps it fun too. You can just go and do whatever you want and ride whatever format you feel like, especially like in District 23. We're so lucky with the different formats that we have and the good venues too.
Well, that's the cool thing, like with, you know, especially coming from off-road, like I can ride the same bike in an enduro, a Harescramble, a GP, a moto, a hill climb. I mean, I could almost go do a flat track if I had a tire. You know, like you can do pretty much everything on the same bike these days.
Yeah. There were, I don't know if it's happening anymore, but there were a group of guys in southeastern Wisconsin that were promoting a series that had races from each different discipline that District 16 offered. So you'd have to do a flat track, a Harescramble, a hill climb, and then I'm not sure an enduro too or something, and then a motocross, and they would pick them and then make a schedule based on that. I'm like, man, if you could find the right people to do that, I feel like it would be so cool. Because can you imagine if you could get top level guys to go and do all that different stuff and then just pick a class limits that you want for everything and try, you know, it get tricky between everything, but it's just like there's so much potential there, I feel like, for some really cool stuff.
Yeah, and way to, you know, I think we need to broadcast it more. Like you were saying, Jack, you already got the biggest investment in the bike. You know, like getting a different tire is not that big of a deal for somebody that's already got the bike. You know, it's like, and we've been seeing you now. I mean, here I'm scrolling through, I don't know who it was, picture, and I'm like, that freaking Jackside Indian Head. You were at the Hillclimb in Red Wing last weekend. I was like, damn, side quest for the freaking 100 photo down here. This is epic. And it's like, that, it's so fun. It's like, oh, there's no enduro or Harescramble this weekend. What's going on? We'll see what else is on the calendar and go check it out. That's just awesome, you know?
Yeah, and that one works out sweet because it's 45 minutes from Millville. It's the day before the Harescramble. Literally, all I did was do a tire and a kill switch.
Yeah,
that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
How did it go? How did it go at Indian Head, Jack?
Well, a little bit bummed to say it, but Bodie got me by like 500ths in the stock class.
Oh, dang.
He thought I put down a pretty smoker of a run, and then he came out and just barely got me.
He's got a few hill climbs under his belt already, I think. So I think that's okay to get beat by him.
I bet you I got more.
Go ahead.
I bet you I got more time on a stock bike, though.
I could probably guarantee you that just from the list of races that Logan just read off that.
Yeah, no one's catching you with that.
Yeah, if you got those stats on Moto Tally, I think you're safe to make that claim. That's fine.
I hit double digits and I ran out of fingers and toes to count. So do that times 2, and we got a lot of hours.
Did you have fun?
It was pretty fun though.
You had fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was it?
Super fun.
Was it dry? The hill?
Yeah.
It's tough on a 2-stroke when it's dry too.
Yeah, that new hill layout is definitely much different. Like, I mean, I was trying to clear the bottom and I ended up clipping every time, but you know, I got close, is about as close as I could get with the traction that I had. But
Right.
yeah, it was tricky.
Well, I was a little insulted because he could have snuck by and grabbed Snowflake and went over there and throw down a little bit. You've already sat on the old girl once before. You could have went down to Red Wing and represented a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Was a pretty good turnout there at Indian Head. I haven't really talked to many people that were there.
It seemed pretty normal.
Okay, cool.
It didn't seem like there was as many vehicles, but it seemed like a lot of rides.
Yep, good. All right. That's good. That equates to a happy club then. So,
Yeah.
well, cool.
It's usually how Hillclimb goes because it's pretty damn easy to get like 6 rides with 2.5 bikes when you're there somehow.
Exactly. When you were young, Grom, then you were saying you went down to Arkansas, but then you traveled some more. What was one of your favorite trips that you went on when you were racing? You remember with your dad and bombing around?
I think one of my favorites was probably this would have been probably 2019, I'm thinking.
Okay.
We were going to be going up to the trail ride up in Akeley in October, and it was supposed to snow and be 30 degrees or whatever. And so I was like, well, why don't we load up and head down to Stillwater 500? So yeah, we bombed down there on Thursday night, rode I think Friday and Saturday, and yeah, it was just so fun. It was my first time in Oklahoma, and
wow, cool.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma is just some of the best riding. I just love it.
That's
just
awesome.
Everything's flowy, like cool dirt and cool terrain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Luke, where were you? Weren't you guys in Oklahoma when you went down with Prebes?
Yeah, we go to been to a couple different places, but like Stillwater, Oklahoma, like they have Stillwater 500. Yep. Obviously, that was a big trail riding place. And where else did we go? I don't remember. I think Stillwater was the main place, but Logan went too. We went to a pretty cool Janabowers, or Janabers in Okmulgee
or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool place down. There's a lot of fun riding.
What was the place that you went where they had bottomless porta shorts and they just moved the toilets?
John Petty's off-road park.
Yeah.
That was we thought there was like piles of like we couldn't really see what it was. We were ways away, but there's like looked like toilet paper was like flown in the wind, attached to the ground. And we got up and I think Taylor went to the bathroom first and she's like, yeah, the porta potties, they're like just into the grass. I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, there's no bottoms. And they would just pick up and move the porta potties every couple of weeks probably. But literally it's just straight down to the grass and there's just piles of human shit all over. Like
I mean, at least
and it's just the parking area.
Dig a hole and bury it or something. It's like, dang.
It's not even like it was a confined area too. It's like you park and it's all just kind of blended together. Like you could be parking right up by there too.
Yikes. Was that the place that had all the cameras on the hot tub for your Airbnb too, Luke?
No. Probably the same town though. So that's sounds about right for.
Well, I remember seeing the videos. The dirt looks unbelievable. I mean, it just looks like the coolest dirt. There was like a cool clay mix in the dirt when you guys were riding down there.
So Jack, you've been to Stillwater, I'm sure, a few times. How many miles is like one lap there? Because it's just insane. Do you remember?
I don't know. I feel like if you do like everything, it's got to be like 30 miles or something. There's a lot of stuff where it's like 2 different options of trail to get to the same spot.
That's true.
But yeah, I think I've only been there once.
Okay.
Just that one weekend we went down there, but yeah, there's a ton of riding there. I know they have enduros and I think sprint enduros there and stuff.
That place is really cool, and it's like great riding, really nice. The trails are in good shape for considering that they're just open all the time. But I know it's always cool, like when you get done and see the Strava map of it, and it's like they could not pack another mile of trail in there if they tried. It's crazy.
Yeah,
and probably 30 plus miles to do one lap, basically.
So your first time down there was just on a whim? You were supposed to go somewhere else, Jack, and you're like, "Oh, to hell with it, we'll go down there."
Yeah, I think we decided on Tuesday or Wednesday to leave on Thursday.
Oh, that's epic. That's so awesome. Good for
It's
you.
pretty sweet.
Oh man, that's cool. Did your dad, was he a big fan then when you got to be old enough to kind of go off by yourself? Did he encourage you to go on these little quests, or was he nervous?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been cool with it. He hasn't said anything otherwise, but yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun just traveling as much as I can, and like I've done a couple of Oklahoma trips with buddies, and yeah, there's just so much opportunity for riding, within 12, 14 hours of Minnesota,
Right.
especially in the wintertime.
It is the absolute best. There's nothing better than just throwing some bikes in, being with your best friends and just ripping. It's just, I live for that stuff. So fun.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it. I think it was at Dog's wedding, but it's kind of funny how when we race dirt bike or ride dirt bike or whatever, it's just no big deal to on a Tuesday be like, hey, we should just go to Oklahoma with a couple of friends on a Thursday and just go ride for the weekend. Like we've had countless deals where like you look back at it, I'm like, it's kind of crazy when you're like 18, 19 and you just load up a van and drive to who knows where and go and ride for a few days. And it's just like, to us, it's normal and no big deal.
Right. Yeah, it was like from my family, we're kind of a little bit of a travelers. My dad was a trucker. And then like once the cell phone came around, like my mom had one of those old Motorola, like big bag phones, right? Or whatever. And that thing is like, it could give you cancer if like you put it to your head, but you could, there was like a cell phone tower in like Owatonna and St. Paul and like Hayward. That was it. But we had service everywhere, And I remember like once they had that, they could care less. They're like, just take the phone and go. Like, cause that was the thing is in their generation, they couldn't communicate. But like once that they knew that we could call if we got in trouble, they didn't care. Just go. Yeah, I know that's already the truck's burning oil and the tires are bald. You'll be fine, right?
That must be that phone must have the same Maps app that you use on your current one.
That's yep. I keep transferring it. Tom, come on. Oh God!
I figured Joel was more of an Atlas guy.
An Atlas might be better than the app he uses.
I would be an Atlas guy, but I know how much my teammates don't like the Atlas, so I keep it at home.
The last time that we ever used an Atlas was like the first or second time that I went to Pogue's Hole, and Dad told me to take some road, and I turned my GPS on at one point. And the road he told me to take was going north, way more north, and still a little bit east. And the road that my phone was taking me, it was going like southeast. And I'm like,
oh no,
they're gone. It's over.
It's
and that was the last time I think we navigated via Atlas.
Yeah, it has that effect. That's why you gotta leave a little early. You can't be cutting it too close with Atlas.
No.
Oh gosh. Well, man, I tell you what, I got to hit the can. We got a sponsor we got to listen to here, but we got a lot to talk about here yet. Jack, can you stay around for a little bit? Because we haven't even touched on 100 photo. We haven't talked about that at all, and that's a huge part of your life and an awesome part of your life. I want to talk about that trip you took this winter from Cali to Arizona. Plus, I just think you guys have been bar banging on these 895 side quests that he's been on. I know there's been some 4-letter words maybe thrown back and forth to you guys. I want to hear about it. I know there was a corner missed at one point. So I think we got to talk about some of these side quests. Can we stick around and come back and talk some more about those, Jack?
Oh yeah.
All right, mint. All right, cool. All right, Luke, we hit it.
Hopefully we still have a sponsor.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
Well, it's my sponsor too, so
all right.
I'll support it.
Against the Grain Design and Print is proud to announce its partnership with Find the Line. Against the Grain works with clients to build their business and racing goals through the design and production of premium stickers and decals. We offer one-of-a-kind subscriptions for a flat monthly fee that can save you hundreds of dollars. Custom mailers, white label printing, motocross graphics, and anything else you can think of, we have you covered. It's time to print your passion. Visit atgdesign.co or email sales@atgdesign.co. Hey there, Find the Line listeners. We will always be looking for partnerships for Find the Line. Please email findthelinepod@gmail.com to see how we can work together to grow your brand. Once again, that's findthelinepod@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to it.
Woo! Oh, man. I mean, our sponsor, not only are they the best in the business, but we have one of their riders on here. And I mean, something that's so special about ATG Design is the packages that they offer. And I know even me, I have a small business that I own in my ride, and I've been able to get the square foot package through ATG, and I've been able to do some stuff for the company, some stuff for the bikes that my company sponsors. Wink, wink. And it's been a real good payoff. Jack, do you exercise any of that?
I do the same exact thing. Yeah, this is my first year of getting bike graphics from Luke, but he's been doing my 100 MN stickers for, I don't even know, probably 3 years now or something like that. Basically since he started.
Cool.
But yeah, this year, yeah, he did a really cool kit for me. We kind of worked together and put together kind of a retro with a little modern spin to it. So yeah, it was really good working with Luke, and he was really receptive to design changes and making it exactly how we both wanted it. So yeah.
It's killer. That picture, that Reddit kit I commented on and Insta, just your bike kit, your personal kit, it was just killer. You just had it going on.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite kits I've ever had. I mean, put all together.
And Luke's got it. I mean, even when I get my hat, my 100 photo hat, and I've got my wife steals my shirts every time that I order from you. But I love the Metallica logo, the stickers. I got them every day. They're like the perfect for my finger on my coffee cup. I got my 100 in the Metallica thing. I've had people ask like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my buddy." Blah blah blah. I like that. I like what he's doing there. That's
Nice.
cool. I like that. It's
You seen the new T-shirt, Joel? The "Sorry We're Racing" one yet? That's probably
shit.
one of my favorite ones.
That I got to get one of those.
That one's sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool sign.
Yeah, those
right?
turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, that's right. That's right up your alley. You probably ordered about a dozen of those, I suppose, right? That's
You should just hang one of them at work, Logan.
That's what I should do. Yeah, every time I'm gone, that'd be perfect.
Or when you send the graduation party card to your family member, you can just give them a shirt with it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really fun hearing what riding and racing was like a family for you, Jack, growing up. I mean, that's where we all came from. It's so fun hearing that. And now, as a grown ass adult, like, what is your goals now this year in 2025? Is there a series that you're going to ride 4 points, or what goals do you have for the year?
Yeah, so this year, similar to last year, I'll be doing all the District 23 off-road events. So Enduros, Harescrambles, and then, yeah, I did Red Wing Hillclimb last weekend. I'll be at Brick Mine in Fordville in North Dakota over 4th of July weekend.
Cool.
Plan on riding Bay City.
Nice.
Awesome.
Maybe gonna borrow 450 or 500.
Nice.
Pro mod class.
Cool.
So,
Perfect.
Nice.
Still got to work on that a little bit, but I think I might have something lined up.
Nice. Awesome.
And then hopefully in the fall, once the local races are wrapped up, go and do a national enduro or two.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you have to qualify for that, or how does that work for the nationals?
No, so they have amateur classes and pro classes. So I'll ride it's called the Expert AA class. So it's just the step below the pro classes.
Okay.
But yeah, those are super fun.
That's got
I usually will go around the rows where the Pro 1 guys are. And yeah, you latch onto one of them guys when they come by you. It's insane speed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Cool.
It's incredible.
That's cool. Is it expensive? Like the entries for a national? Do they get you, or how does that work?
It's not horrible. I mean, I think they're usually between 70 and I don't know if there's any that are quite 100, but usually they're like $80 or something for entry fee.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all. No.
Not at all for, all day riding and, good trail and
Right.
Well, that like
all that.
the NEPG, dude, like that's the top for
Yeah.
enduros, right?
Yep.
Unless I'm mistaken, but so you can go and ride If you could go and ride, if most people could go and ride a Supercross for $75-$80, I think they'd all be there.
Well, that's why I just didn't know is,
Yeah.
for us, like a lot of times we're signing up for multiple classes, like if, what was your entry fee for Washington, Logan, for all the classes? $900?
$750 before we get in the van.
$750. That was your total. Well,
Yep.
yeah. So
And
that's a whole weekend of racing.
Yeah.
But there's
And
an option.
I don't know what, a minute and a half of bike time.
I was gonna say your bike's running for what, maybe 10 minutes through the whole weekend.
More of warm up running time.
Yeah.
Than it is,
Yeah, exactly. That's like, I feel so dumb when I make comments like, yeah, I'm not going to go and ride a sprint enduro because it's only 45 minutes and we're going to drive it for 12 hours. But I'm like, I literally drove 36 hours to ride for like 2.5 minutes.
I was going to call you out, but the hill climber in me just couldn't, because I know. We fall victim to that all the time.
Yep. Well, I justify it differently, I guess, but it's not to say it makes any sense.
Well, pretty lofty goals then, Jack. That's a lot of racing. You got quite a few weekends already booked then.
I'm nowhere near as busy as Logan, though.
No, the Harescramble schedule is no joke this year, though.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just a lot less travel time.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, 895 side quests, we're talking. Now, I heard at Syracuse, you were down there. That was a GP that you were racing down there. And I heard you guys were leading the double A's out. And what happened, Jack? What's now? I've heard the story from 895, but something tells me there's more to it.
Yeah, so I was on my trusty YZ250. Everybody knows that bike will get an amazing start if it's a dead engine start.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I pulled the whole shot going into the woods, and like there was no tracks on the course before we got there.
Okay.
The first race of the morning. Nobody had ridden the course.
Oh man.
So it was just following arrows,
Right.
and get up to where we were getting off the track, and I see an arrow way up there. So I'm aiming for it, and then all of a sudden the trail is next to me. So I, slam on the binders, get it turned. Logan's right behind me. He does the same thing, but there's somebody on the inside of him, and he gets T-boned. I'm on my way out.
You're gone.
Like,
can't even
yeah,
hear
I'm
us
gone.
now.
And then I get about a half a lap in, and Logan's right back on me. And yeah, he chased me down for probably a lap and a half. And then he had found a line the lap before that I didn't see, and I'm coming around this corner, and all of a sudden I see Logan in front of me just airing out this little jump into the woods. And yeah, I chased him down for a lap or two, but ended up kind of falling back. But
I don't know if you listened, but he did credit you to a line. He said that there was a line that you had found that he had not seen, and it got him the best pass of his life, I think is what he called it.
Yeah, that one towards the end was sweet too.
That's
It was the ultimate defense that Jack did. He had a good enough lead to just do like the ultimate pump fake. So I follow him last minute hard right, and then just caused the biggest bottleneck you've ever seen. I got T-boned, and everyone behind him screwed up, and somehow nobody passed me. So Jack got like a 15-second lead, and he's just gone.
Maybe that was all part of my plan, and I didn't even know it.
It was a great plan, and it worked out flawlessly.
Was there any?
Like I said, the whole course was no tracks on it, so I'm following arrows the whole time. I bet you I blew 10 corners, and I'm looking around for arrows. Like I have no idea where I'm going, and
rough.
Logan's just back there watching me, trying to find my way through.
Yep.
At any point, did he holler, "No brakes, no brakes"? He messed up his brake levers. Did he give any verbal warnings when he was coming in hot?
No, I was surprised he didn't just pretend that he didn't have any brakes and just ram into the back of me at some point. But
So you guys lived through the GP, and it sounds like some epic battles. But then you guys at Millville just this last weekend, some more rallying there.
yeah, I mean, I was nowhere even close to Logan most of the time. He got me on the start and just kind of ran away. But yeah.
He had me the first corner at least. The YZ still had like 2 bikes on me going into the corner. Somehow.
There's nothing like a kickstart 252 stroke on a dead engine start. Like out of the corner of my eyes, I just see empty track the first 30 feet or so. It's pretty awesome.
What tire do you run at Millville on your 250?
Pretty much always just run the AT82.
Okay. You had the 14 at Syracuse, though, I'd imagine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a must. I remember, I think I was at Highwater the first time you ran a scoop like that. Might have been an 11
that
or
was
something.
At Syracuse.
Was that at Syracuse?
It was at Syracuse,
and you're like, dang. What? And I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty big difference.
It must have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was with
it was my first time. And yeah, me and Swenson had an epic battle on the first lap on the motocross track. Like, I would take the outside of the corners and, like kind of just cruise around it and then get on the gas on the straights. And he would come in wide open, just sliding. And we'd end up like even coming out of the corner. And then I'd pull him on the straight. And then he would just hold it wide open into the next corner. And yeah, it was so fun.
Oh,
there's a video of it somewhere. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was cool watching that video.
Yeah.
Those MX-14s are a necessity in the sand. It's crazy how good they are.
I cannot believe the difference between like the 11s or is it the 12 and then now the 14. It's amazing the difference.
Yeah, they're way better tires. Jack, my dad ran that same MX-11 at Millville that he did at Syracuse.
What?
He didn't have any complaints, but I'm like, how? The thing is hard as a rock because it's half dry rotted, and then Millville was concrete.
Half of that course is just hard packed too. So.
And he was telling me how good he was going up the hard rocky hills. I'm like, what?
Maybe he was talking about the like sandy kind of dozer trail things on the sides of the hills.
Maybe it was that. That I could see
it working really good in some of that stuff, but
yeah,
like that Supercross turn track thing on top of the hill, I can imagine that thing was just all over the place.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw him loading up with that.
Todd stopped down to show me the full throttle 500, the gas 500. His bike thing is sick. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
He's loving it. And then we were just talking, and he said that Millville was the funnest race he's ever done in his life. How old's your dad?
Yeah. 61 now.
That's insane, isn't it? How freaking cool is that? That at 61, your dad had bought 2 new bikes in this year, which is awesome. And surprise, surprise, fell back in love with dirt bikes and is just loving it. Your dad's so inspiring. I just freaking love that.
Yep.
Well, he was having some really, really good rides at Syracuse too.
Yeah.
And hole shots. Like, did he win his first moto? Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
Well, he said that Syracuse was super fun, and then when he came back and said Millville was even better, I was just like, I think he's hooked. I think that 300 and M, they're soulmates, and I think he's probably going to be a fixture at the off-road stuff.
It's gonna be a tough time keeping him away from any of the Harescrambles that are open. He told me like yesterday he was ready for another one.
That's awesome.
So
wait until he finds out about Enduro.
Yeah, I think he'd really like that too.
Yeah.
Be hard for Todd not to have a keystone in between sessions, though. He kind of he don't mind having a keystone after he gets done riding. That might be a drawback. I'm guessing that's frowned upon in Enduro, Jack.
In between tests.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if I've seen it before, but there's been legends of it happening for sure.
I guarantee you in France that they have beers in between.
I've seen it.
And it's probably free beer by the promoter.
Yep.
Oh, man. One of the biggest things that I know of you is photography. And 100 Photo, you've just been such an awesome steward to so many forms of racing. And you have a very good eye when it comes to your craft and knowing what looks fast and what looks cool. When did the photography start for you, Jack?
So I think my first time doing it would have been either 2019 or 2020. But I'll back up a little bit further. One of my dad's buddies, longtime family friend named Mike Pohl, he would always, like ever since I can remember, he would take row one at Enduros so that on the last section, he could pick up his camera at the end, go run back into the woods and shoot photos of everybody else.
Wow.
It was like the coolest thing ever. So
That's cool.
yeah, I was always a big fan of that. And then, we'd go riding at Grantsburg or different places, and, I'd want him to shoot some photos of me, and then he would hand me his camera and go, "Oh, hey, like I'll get you all set up. Like I know these couple of shots that I want." And yeah, I mean, even since then, I was like, man, this is cool. This is like something I could get into. And then, yeah, he passed away in 2017, and
dang.
it was just a huge bummer. And then, it was just a couple of years later, and nobody was really taking photos at the local district races.
Okay.
I'm like, well, that's something I could do. And just borrowed my mom's camera for the first year, and just kind of do some here and there, and then got a little bit more into it and got into a little bit of the editing and bought a better camera and stuff. And like something that I've always been really adamant about, because like Mike would never charge anybody for photos. Like he would do it all just
Oh wow.
because he loved it.
Right. Wow.
And so I've always tried to do the same thing. Like I'll gladly accept
Right.
donation type stuff,
Yeah.
but like I don't ever want somebody to have to go through a paywall to get photos from a race.
Wow, that's generous of you.
So that's something that I've always tried to do, and kind of to honor Mike's legacy a little bit, and
Right.
give back to the sport. But yeah, and I mean, with that, like
sorry to interrupt you, but do a lot of people do you get some? Do people give you some money?
Yeah, it's usually at least a few people per race, and I appreciate it a lot.
Good.
It all goes back into like getting better equipment, and
Yeah.
paying for the website and paying for the different storage on the cloud and stuff. And
Right. I mean, if you're some vet,
it's all going back into it.
if you're some vet rider with a kit and you got $25,000 into your bike that you can't finish a lap, and you get a cool picture, send the guy a little money, right? It's like, if you're going to spend thousands on the stuff and someone gets a cool picture of it, throw the guy some pizza money, right? I mean, it makes all that adds up and gets more done, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. It makes a big difference, and people need to understand that,
Yeah. And it allows me to make better photos and do more video stuff, and have a better website, easier to use, stuff like that. So yeah, it all helps.
Cool. Very cool. And I love that you have the merch too. So smart of you, because we want to rep you. I even got to see one out in the wild last year, and I was camping. That was the coolest thing ever. I'm out camping. I'm at a big campground over in Chippewa Falls, and a kid on a mountain bike is doing the longest wheelie I've ever seen on a mountain bike. And he turns his head, 100 photo hat. And I'm like, no freaking way.
That's awesome.
And I had to chase that little Grom down to find out. And he's like, oh, I won this hat at a banquet or something. And I'm like, oh, I know Jack. He's like, oh, it's my favorite hat. He loved it. I was like, you're representing him great. I'm like, this is exactly what he wants. Is you riding wheelies through the park with that hat on. This is perfect.
Heck yeah.
That was a pretty cool surprise getting that picture from you.
Yeah, that was epic.
What are the odds of that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, you ever get any ATG stuff out in the wild where it catches you off guard a little bit?
I used to, and I would sell like more merch. I haven't had a lot of ATG. I bought like a lot of clothing, but it's all been for me so far. So I don't have too much as far as merch. But I did have a bike in the back from a Harescramble where I think I was just at the Red Wing, like 4-way stop. And obviously I knew him and stuff, but it was, he races Harescramble on a Cowie. I cannot remember his name right now, but I saw like the bike in the back and I wasn't paying attention. Then I caught it, and it's like, it is kind of cool. Just like little stuff like that. you know.
And like I like with Colby with Nitro Pilot, I love seeing like all the random places I'll see a freaking Nitro Pilot shirt. I'm like that's awesome. Like that person just supported our sport by supporting that. It's like now I know like if they're on the side of the road, I'm gonna stop and help them. Right? You know, it's like that's how you get more friends supporting our sport. So love it. So with 100 photo, that's really cool. And thank you to your friend. I'm so sorry you lost him, but what an awesome person for donating all of his time and energy and getting all these cool memories, really, you know, and for you to carry the torch, that's epic, Jack. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like I honestly didn't know that I would enjoy it as much as I do. And I mean, honestly, that's what got me into hill climbing. Was I was bored on a Saturday and Logan had posted that, you know, there was races at Bay City, and yeah, I was like, well, I can bring a camera. So yeah, that was a cool opportunity, and you know, my first real exposure to hill climb, and got some really, really cool photos even that I look back to this day.
Yeah.
Like the one of Austin Tyler on his open bike, like front wheel high in the air, coming over that kind of knob on the left side of the hill there. It's just so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
895 is kind of a little bit of an agent, isn't he? Because I think he hooked you up with some contract work, and I think didn't you hook up Bob too, Logan?
Yeah, I got Bob dialed in with Buell for a couple races. I know. I usually try to help him out if I can.
And did you hook up Jack
Sure,
with
guys.
Matt?
Maybe.
I think I met Matt at Bay City that year.
Yeah, you probably did.
And then he talked to me about going to Brick Mine
Yeah.
that year that I rode out there with you guys.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, you don't even know. You're hooking. You're just you're that silent source in the back. Right?
I've done so many deals, I just forget about the early on ones, you know.
Did
just
you
out here making money for people.
Right, exactly. Did you have to buy a new camera after Brick Mine, Jack? That was the dustiest freaking thing. Oh my god.
That was a
I
rough
probably
year.
should have.
Yeah.
That was bad. I've never seen. I felt terrible. You were so freaking dusty. It was insane.
That was bad.
I got back to the hotel and I washed the insoles of my shoes in the bathtub because they were so nasty. Like the layer of just dirt packed into them was just insane.
Were you there last year at the Brick Mine?
Yeah.
I don't recognize that place last year. I wasn't there. And I'll see pictures and I'm like, that's not Walhalla. Like it looked like nothing I'd ever seen before. That had to have been just epic with no dust.
This is going to be a hot take. It wasn't that epic. I really liked the dusty conditions.
Well, you liked it until it opened, right? Didn't you?
Yeah.
You were having a great day until you had that one ride.
Just had to go and show off and be stupid.
Yeah. That's when you learn the lesson that no more free rides.
No more free rides. Someone's going to pay for them.
Right. Yep. Well, at least we can blame it on something.
Yeah. And then speaking of Jack and all of his photo skills, I was just looking back and found one of the most epic shots that he's got of me. He probably knows this one, but is it gonna? I don't even know if it's gonna show up.
Yeah.
But from
that
the
big
sandbox,
table,
they had like a
on the 125 or 150 or whatever that was.
They had two doubles there, and it was it was like a big jump, especially for that 150. And I had to like yank everything I had out of it, and like this picture, boner aired. It looks like I'm going to hit my head on the rafters, and you can barely see the jumps in the frame of the shot. It's like, and then there's another guy on the side just rolling the jump, like looking up. It's such a cool shot. And I was like, you were early on taking pictures that year.
Yeah.
Dude, that must have been like one of your first years, huh?
Yeah, it was either my first or second year.
Yeah, that one's sweet. It's like, that one's tough to beat.
And because of you, got that memory. Thanks.
Yep.
I mean, so many people that you get to you make that memory possible for them to go back to whenever they want. That's epic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's been the favorite part of like the journey so far for you, Jack? Like picking up cameras and the photography. Like, what's one thing that you like really appreciate as you get more and more into it?
I think one of the biggest things is just like hearing from, especially like parents of youth riders, like how much they enjoy seeing the photos, and then, even just like scrolling through Instagram, just like seeing my photos out in the wild and people posting them and, enjoying them. And that's been really cool.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's really one of the biggest things in modern history for our sport is the transference of that medium, how quick you can just get a picture for everybody to see. Yep. And you're a big part of all the growth for these sports is people like yourself that take these awesome photos, like the 208 visuals, Bob out west, awesome, just a great photographer, and Colby, a nitro pilot, yourself, like the equipment that you guys are taking out there is not meant to do this, right, Luke? I mean, maybe is it meant for snowcross, Luke? When you were for the photographer for snowcross, was that better or worse?
It's definitely not. I think snowcross can compete with hill climbs. There's multiple times where I was thinking I'd rather be at a hill climb in 100 degrees and dust than snowcross.
You'd rather be at Brick Mine in the dust.
I literally thought that, and I thought that would never come out of my mouth or like in my mind, but it did. And I was like, I would way rather be there than right here, right now.
Is it just like, does it gut you guys, Luke and Jack? Like what you spent thousands of dollars on just a freaking lens, right? And then you just take them to the most hostile environment in the world.
So you're trying to kill them.
Yeah, it's like every time there's a ride at Brick Mine, as soon as the rider gets past me and I'm done shooting photos, I'll like tuck my camera into my shirt to try and keep some dust out of it and stuff.
There's, I wish I knew her name. She's so nice, but at the Kettle Marine at Kewaskum for the race, there's a lady that goes out there that takes pictures. She's so nice. She takes good pictures, but the lens she has, that sucker's got to be like 30 grand. It's like the one you see in the NFL where like it's like a dinner plate at the end.
Telescope.
And she's got like a stand for it. And I want to tell her, like, lady, you can't be anywhere around this place, but you better be able to zoom in because it is just awful. And I was like, I would just feel so bad if that sucker caught a rock or something, No. But yeah, what equipment do you run, Jack? Have you found something that works for you for your photos?
Yeah, so like my current setup is Sony A7 IV, and then for a body, and then typically I'll use my G Master 70-200 f2.8. That's kind of my normal setup. Then I got a A6500 that I use for a little bit of video stuff, kind of lighter weight, easier to carry around and stuff. But
okay, for the non nerds, we're gonna sit back here. But Luke, do you prefer the 70-200, or I don't? It's like you guys just started speaking Swahili there. I don't know, but Luke, what do you run? Is that a good lens?
The old G Master, yeah. No, but you've been getting into more and more videos too. Like, do you like comparing the two? Like, what do you like about videos versus photos?
Like, I'd say overall, I like shooting photos a lot more. I feel like I can kind of be a lot more artistic with it and kind of, do some different foregrounds, backgrounds, stuff like that. I have had a lot of fun with the video stuff. I did a kind of a remake of like the Terra Firma videos last fall. That was really fun. Logan was in that.
Yeah, that was sick. Turned out cool.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was one of my first real like multiple day, like planning shots and kind of doing stuff like that. I'd like to do some more of that, but it's really difficult during the season. It's more of a fall thing when, I can dedicate a full day to just shooting. But yeah, I mean, video stuff is fun. Photos are really fun. Yeah, I definitely like doing photos more at races because then I feel like there's a lot more opportunities for people to use them. They can print them, they can, post them, they can, just have them in their folder to look back on in a couple of years or whatever. And yeah, I like both though.
Yeah, and how cool is it that you took a photo and it's probably the background on their phone for the next 6 months, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And thankfully, there's some generous people that pay you back, but that doesn't pay for everything. But for everything, obviously. But what do you do for work, Jack? Or do you have a regular 9 to 5 job?
Yep. So I work at a place called Metalcraft in Elk River, Minnesota.
Okay.
We're a medical device manufacturer for a lot of the top OEMs, and I work in the engineering department as a mechanical drafting and design engineer is my official title.
How many toots to the horn do you give when you come to the road crossings? I forget. Is it 3?
Not that kind of engineer.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I thought you were like Logan there. We have to tell him eyes on the tracks. No, that's awesome. That's a great career. And then, can you work remote at all, or do you have to go in all the time?
It's all in person as of right now. I mean, we don't really have anybody that works from home in the engineering department, but
okay.
Yeah, so it's your typical 5-day a week
right
office job pretty much.
Well, and that's what I was asking. Is just like with Logan, like come January, February, he's already got his spreadsheet out. He's trying to figure his PTO. How difficult is for you like to line up your PTO and get stuff? Are you like him, where you're months out planned, or how does it work?
Luckily, most of the stuff that I do is, I don't even have to take time off for it. Usually it's
nice.
Drive up the day of the race or the day before the race. So, it's pretty minimal for what I have to take off time for.
Okay.
Unless if I'm planning a big trip, or like I'll usually take off a couple of days for before troll hogging to get the course ready and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad.
Okay,
I can't imagine what Logan has to go through to try and plan out all of his stuff, but
that makes sense, because
I got it pretty easy.
I couldn't. We talked, and I was following along, and like a little kid, I was living vicariously through you. And this winter, you went on an epic trip, and I believe it was Arizona and California. Is that where you guys went this winter?
Yeah. So basically, took off from home, drove to Wichita to like Santa Fe.
Oh, wow.
And then Santa Fe to Phoenix.
Okay.
And then spent, I don't remember what it was, 4 or 5 days with my uncle who lives in Phoenix.
Okay.
Did some dirt biking, did some mountain biking.
Cool.
Did some sightseeing stuff.
Who was all on the trip
ran
with
into
you?
Destry Abbott.
What? No, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was out mountain biking over by my uncle's house, and yeah, like heard a dirt bike coming and just kind of hung out for a little bit. And yeah, I'm like, man, that kind of looks like Destry Abbott. And he gets up close, and I'm like, that is Destry Abbott.
Wow.
So yeah, he stopped, and was like, oh, you guys okay, whatever? And like, yeah, just funny seeing you out here. Like, talked to him for a couple of minutes. Just the coolest guy.
Cool. Oh,
that was a really cool encounter.
Random. Wow.
Yeah. It's just like, you're out in the desert, and
right.
You never know who you're going to run into.
Wow. Wow. Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it who was with you on the trip then, I guess?
It was just me and my, at the time, girlfriend.
Okay. All right. So you were the only one riding then for dirt biking and stuff like that?
Yeah,
okay.
Dirt biking, and then she did a little bit of mountain biking, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then my uncle rode with us, but in a separate group.
Okay.
When I was in Arizona, so yeah, like me and a couple of like the kind of A and AA level riders went and did I think it was like a 40-mile loop or something out in the desert.
Nice.
So that was super fun.
Was it? Is it just all sand? Is that what you're riding in, or?
No, I've ridden out there. It's got to be 5 or 6 times, and yeah, it's you think of Arizona desert, you think it's going to be 4th, 5th gear, wide open, like just blasting across the desert like you see in videos and stuff. But you'd be surprised. It's a lot of, second, third gear, single track, like, as tight as anything that we've got in Minnesota. Lots of big hills. You're riding these ridges like you do in, Colorado or Utah or something.
Jeez.
Where, you got about 15 feet wide, and then both sides is just a straight drop down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's some pretty cool stuff, and like just the scenery. You get to the top of those things and stop and look around, and you can just see forever. You can see Phoenix. You can see like 2 or 3 different big cities because they're so high up on the mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Sounds cool. Did you have to get like a sticker or anything for riding down there, or could you just go out and ride?
Yeah, so it's where my uncle lives. He's like just on the north end of Phoenix, and I think it's 20 or 30 minutes from his house. There's this big area of open land, like public land.
Okay.
And the one guy that I rode with, he is kind of the one that puts in a lot of the trails out there.
Okay.
But I heard at one point he had over 900 miles of GPS single track out there.
Dang. That's crazy.
In this one riding area.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time.
That's not good at all.
And they ain't riding in July and August out there. So that's.
Well, they do. They just get out there at 5 a.m.
Oh, okay. All right.
And ride when it's only 95 instead of 110.
Yeah, right. Yeah, screw that. I ain't riding into 110. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's cool. So you had some family with us. So did you just stay with your uncle when you were down there?
Yeah, so I stayed with my uncle when we were in Arizona, and then spent a few days there, and then went over to California for Day in the Dirt.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you've heard of that event, but actually my coup de grace bib is right there.
Nice. Very cool.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Hour and 20-minute moto.
Sweet. Nice. Awesome. Very cool.
That was awesome.
Is that what Brett was talking about, Logan? When he was on?
Yeah, it's a huge event in SoCal, so it's a pretty big deal.
Because I think he was saying Troy Lee's part of that, and
I guess I don't know if he is now, but I think he like helped start it, right, Jack? Or
I think he started it, and then Fast House kind of took it over in the past 4 or 5 years or something. But yeah, it's a huge Red Bull event. Like,
wow,
everything you could possibly think of, and everybody you could possibly think of is there. Like, you're walking around the pits, and Tyler Berriman's there, Marvin Muscan's there, like. Alex Ray and the Andy Gregg, the owner of Guts Seats, is there. Like, just think about all these people that could possibly be there, and you just walk through the pits and you see all of them.
Wow.
It's a big deal. Yeah,
that's a big deal.
It's pretty awesome. Wow. Yeah,
that one's on my bucket list of events to go to. Also,
it's pretty awesome, and Glen Helen is just incredible.
Wow.
Like, just the funnest track. Like. Blasting up those hills, you're just wide open, and then turn around, grab a couple of gears, and hold the gas on down Mount St. Helens.
Cool.
Quite a feeling.
Was it difficult to get signed up or to get a part of it, or how does that all work?
Well, so I had kind of looked into it the year before, just to kind of get an idea of what it was all about and whatnot, and I think sign up opened in sometime in October.
Okay.
And like as soon as I saw it open up, I signed up.
Okay.
But I think most of them you could sign up like the week before.
Okay.
As just some of the races fill up.
Right. Yep.
Like the 2-stroke race and a couple of the team races will fill up.
Okay.
But yeah, that event is just cool. There's a race for everything.
Wow.
Like there's a 2-stroke race, there's vintage races, there's kids races, there's team races.
Wow.
Like all kinds of stuff.
Traveling.
Like so many classes and stuff. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
It sounds epic. I mean, it just from what you were saying, Brett was talking about it. I mean, it just sounds like you got to go there. Like you got to be a part of it once in your life for sure.
Yeah.
But, traveling from Minnesota to this big trip, like there's a lot of planning. like it can be a very expensive trip, but you can also there's things you could do. I mean, we're all working class people. You don't have a money tree in your backyard. What you got any tricks? I mean, for people that are wanting to do this, did you guys do any camping, or were you always in hotels, or how did you go about it?
So I was really lucky with this one because, like I say, I got an uncle that lives in Arizona,
Yep.
and then I guess you could say future brother-in-law, Jerry Robin,
Okay.
lives in California,
Nice.
Southern California. So
Nice.
I was able to stay at his house for, the time I was there. So
Okay.
really the lodging part didn't cost me a whole
That's
lot.
so have friends. That's
pretty
that's your
sweet.
first tip
Yeah.
is have friends that don't
Yeah.
live near you.
Have friends across the country in places where you want to visit.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have a job that pays pretty decent.
Okay. Nice.
So I didn't have to think about it too much, like spending money on places to stay or whatnot.
Well, I know, like for us, like when we travel, we've never once pulled over, got a room, slept, woke up, and kept driving. We always drive through the night. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're in the same club as us, but we ain't stopping and buying a room just to make it like, nope, I'll drive till 3. Logan's going to drive from 3 till 7. That's how it goes when I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm not quite that hardcore. I had to pull over and stay a couple of nights on the way there
Okay.
because,
All right.
yeah, 20, whatever it was, 28 hours or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know about that.
it's easy on the way there because all we
It's
do is
different when you got a few drivers
yes,
too.
that helps. And on the way
Yeah.
there, all you got to do is get to Sparks, Nevada for the in and out. So you got that to fuel that,
Yep.
That was one mandatory stop in Southern California. Was in and out, so
Absolutely.
Can't miss it.
had to do that.
No, that was the shake. I'm starting to think that it's more about the shake than it is about the burger, though. At In and Out.
Could be. I think it's
Pretty
more about the
solid.
experience than the food because the food's not the best in the world, but damn, it's a good experience and it's still pretty solid.
You better be careful talking like that.
Oh, I still love it.
You're gonna offend a lot of.
I mean, I'm just saying, you put in the same wrapper a Culver's single bacon deluxe next to
Butterburger.
Yeah, Butterburger next to an In and Out. I mean,
It'd be tough. It could hold its own. Culver's can hold its own.
that some bitch, they can make a burger. Culver's can make a burger. I ain't gonna lie.
Are we gonna officially claim Culver's as the In and Out of the Midwest?
It basically is. Yeah, that's a good claim.
Plus cheese curds.
Yeah.
My news source said that this is the first ever Pope that's ate at Culver's. So I mean, that's kind of cool.
Nice.
No, what a trip! So you're saying anybody? You're agreeing with Logan? You got to go.
Oh yeah, and then like that wasn't even all of the trip. I spent, that whole week after a day in the dirt in SoCal.
Wow.
Did some mountain biking, rode Glen Helen on Thursday.
Okay.
So I mean, there's like, 3-4 pro motocross guys there. There's, a bunch of like really top level off-road guys from out there, and
wow,
just fast dudes that you're out on the track with, and try and chase them down for a couple of corners. Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Rough.
And then the following weekend was the Kurt Caselli ride day.
Oh dang.
So that was at Paula. That was fun.
Dang, wow.
That's the other bib that I got here is from that from the team race there.
Wow.
It's 1 pro and 1 amateur, and they do like I can't remember what it was, 20-minute moto or something, switch off every lap.
That's cool.
It was pretty sweet.
That's really cool. Wow. What a trip. So you kind of got now. See, if it would have been me, I would have made it to Arizona and had a major bike malfunction and been working that. Did you have any? Did you have any big shots to the moneymaker on you on the trip or?
No, luckily it was all really good. Like
Okay.
I mean, I had no bike issues. I had no van issues. Like it was I was very fortunate.
Mhm.
I'll say
I'm
that.
telling you right now, bottle that
For-
Oak Grove water. I need some because we don't drink from the same well. This is
Yep.
not. It would have been a bearing out of the van, something. There's no way I could have just went for 2 weeks and had not had some sort of traumatic event.
Right.
Oh wow. And then,
Yeah.
so then did you just hustle it right back from Cali, or did you do any stops on the way back?
Yeah, it took like 3 days to get back,
Okay.
or well, 2.5. Left straight from Paula at like 5, made it to I think it was St. George, Utah at like 1 a.m. or something, and
Okay.
slept for a few hours, got back up and took the way through like Utah and then up through Wyoming and across South Dakota.
Yeah.
That was like the coolest part of the whole trip.
Mhm.
Like especially like Salt Lake City, Park City, Utah.
It's cool.
Just so cool.
Yeah. I just want like a
Like
month
you're
just
just
to bounce
driving through
around
the
Utah.
mountains. And,
Utah's got everything
yeah.
from the salt
Mhm.
flats
Yeah.
to the mountains to Moab to, it's like, wow, just everything.
I'd say Utah was my favorite scenery
Mhm.
state by far.
Yeah, dang it. I currently don't have a cool trip booked right now, and now I'm just like, I got to get on it. I got to get something on the books here. Wow. What a trip. And thanks for, you had some cool posts on Instagram, and, you know, it's like not all of us can do cool stuff, right? So thank you for sharing via social media so we can see what it's like to be a cool guy out there living your best life. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it was just super fun. It's something that I've been wanting to do for years, and I just graduated school last spring, so I knew this was the time to do it. Like I had some time off built up at work, and I didn't have to worry about school in the fall, so
Mhm.
Dude,
I started planning early and went for
I
it.
mean, was it better when they give you the bib overalls or that little hat? What was the best part about the graduation? Was it?
I didn't even go to graduation.
probably-
I had a race that
That was the
weekend,
best
so
part, not going.
No, it's got to be the bib overalls because you can't. You're driving the train. You can't just have regular clothes on, right? You got to have your bibs and your little hat, right? Isn't that? Do they give you both, or is it when you graduate, or how does that work? When you
yeah.
when you got
No, I just got the model.
coal
I got the
shovel.
model train.
Okay. My father-in-law Bruce said when you got to explain the jokes, they're not as funny. So I didn't quite land very good. Oh man, unbelievable! That is just good on you. Because you know what, like doing those things, it's not easy. Planning, expense. You got to have the vehicle. You got to. It's hard. And good on you for just figuring it out. When that freaking sign up on October hit, sign up. Do it. Like I'm going, right? There's gonna be a point in your life where you're not gonna be able to do any of that shit. So good on you for making that epic trip. It's just awesome. So cool.
Mhm.
You're
That's exactly why I did it.
you're like a freaking.
I'm like, this is
You're like an onion
this
though.
is my opportunity.
You're like an onion though, Jack. We're peeling here, and we haven't even got to one of the coolest things. You're the damn trail master at Trollhagen.
Yeah,
I've heard from several
yeah.
people that this is one of the most epic events in the upper Midwest.
We try our best. We put in pretty much a new layout of the course every year. It's one of the few Harescrambles in District 23 that's still, long laps.
Right.
We usually have 12-mile lap. It's 30 to 35-minute lap time. So
Wow.
you're not riding the same beat up 7-mile course for 2 hours. And
Nice.
yeah, I take a lot of pride in how much effort we put into that race, and it's just awesome to see all the smiles and hear about all the good times that people had after the race.
What
Mhm.
what is your involvement with the landowners there? Is it their race and you're helping, or you rent the land from them, or how does that whole collaboration go?
Yeah, so I have another guy, Dan Banks, that helps me out a lot. He was the trail boss for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I think, before I started doing it.
Okay.
And yeah, so he does all the like communication with the landowner. But yeah, we do rent the land, and just kind of work with them on when we can be out there. And then there's also a like a 4x4 Jeep club that holds events out
Yeah.
there. So we have to kind of work around their schedule a little bit too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Logan and I got some involvement because when we were trying to test for X Games, we were calling everywhere trying to find a place to test. And I think it's Junior was the guy's name that owned it or whatever, Trollhagen.
JR.
Yeah. And
Yep.
but it's a ski resort. It's and
Yep.
we call them, and I finally got around it. They're really nice people, and I mean, I had been told no by everybody, and finally I got through to him, and he's like, "What do you got going on?" And I tell him, he's like, "Yeah, we could do that." He's like, "Wouldn't you want? Could you come in the morning or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, no worries." And I'm like, "Well, I can." I'm like, he goes, I can, we can pay you for if there's any. No, he goes, you ain't gonna. It'll be just fine. That'd be cool. He's like, I just want my name on your bikes when you're out at X Games. I'm like, no problem. We can do that. And then I brought him up a bunch of cheese curds, and then he's like, yeah, go talk to the head dude down there that is like the head snowbaker guy. And you could just tell, like, he was just into it. He just thought it was cool. And I'm like, yes, I love America. This is what it's about. Like, that guy's just like, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's do that. And then, they let us go practice, and it was really fun. But you just, that's America. Like, I got told no, because people just didn't care. And finally, here's a guy that, yeah, he's got a 4-wheel drive mud thing. He's got an awesome Harescramble. He loves horsepower and bikes. So we found the right guy. So that's epic.
Yeah. And that's kind of the other thing about JR is, he had that land where all the Jeep events are. He put in dirt bike trails long before those Jeep events even started.
Oh.
So like he used to just go out there and ride.
Oh, sweet.
Like he's got all kinds of cool old bikes. He's got old DTs and ITs and all these bikes from the 70s.
Cool.
And we'll be out there, having a work day, and it'll be like lunchtime, and he'll come rolling up on one of his old bikes and come stop by and say hi. It's
cool.
pretty awesome.
That's cool. Hell yeah. I love it. So go there, support this organization that you're a part of, plus the landowners, the family being there. That helps everybody, right? So how do you get signed up? Like if someone wants to come rally up with you, where do you go to get signed up for this?
Yeah, so you can find information either on the club that I belong to that promotes it. The website is norsemanmc.org.
Okay.
Or on the District 23 website, which is armca.org.
Okay.
You can find the information in either spot. The race is on June 29th. We got classes everywhere from 50s to the AA class. So something for everybody. And try and lay out a really good course for, all skill levels, and make sure that everybody has some fun.
Cool. Am I mistaken, or does your club give free entries to the 50 classes too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All the 50s ride for free.
Oh, that's
super
awesome.
Cool too.
That's really cool. Thank you for that. That's really cool.
Good way to get kids involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think Todd will probably be there.
Good chance.
Is he mechanicing for you June 29th, Logan?
There is a Hillclimb. I haven't decided if I'm going yet.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe no time.
Especially, it's hard to go to that when you got a cool Harescramble an hour away too.
Yeah.
Well,
Logan's done the overnight drive there multiple times.
That one almost freaking killed me. That was just ridiculous. Stay up all night drinking Monster and eating candy, and then go and race a 2.5 hour Harescramble in the 95-degree heat.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that don't pan out.
Oh, it was a rough one. I did all right. I finished all right though. It was fun.
You finished. I never would have finished.
I finished.
That's pretty impressive.
I think I got 5th if I remember right. It was a dual sanctioned race that year too, which I guess it usually always is, but it was fun.
Cool.
I do remember that.
Well, man, Jack, just your life, really cool. I mean, I think it's so neat, like all the different aspects that you've kind of been involved in racing and dirt bikes, from now the promoting side that we're talking about, the photography, the actual racing when you're so damn fast, just your family being involved in it is just awesome. I mean, it's really cool. Like when you're still a young man, and that's the cool thing is like you still, from where you're at right now, have so many years that you can still improve on yourself. I mean, look at when we were down at Highwater riding with Matt, Logan. Obviously, he is legend, but I mean, that guy's just hammering. And it's like, here's Todd out there riding. It's like, that's what's so cool about dirt bikes is like, as long as you have the will, there's an opportunity to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, we got in District 23 off-road, we have a 70 plus class that usually has 3 to 5 people in it every race.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
No. Are you going to be tempted at all if Cowie with the 2-stroke, if Cowie comes out, are you only Yamaha?
I don't know. I mean, as of right now, it's the bike that suits me the best, I think.
All right.
I've ridden some different stuff, and I don't know. I always find myself back at home.
All right.
You can't say he's not a Cowie guy because his moto tally doesn't lie.
Whoa!
There were a lot of Cowie signups on there for a little while.
That would have been probably from 65.
I think so.
Okay.
And I rode a Suzuki 85.
Yep, I saw the Zook on there too.
Oh man, come on! I thought I knew this guy.
Yeah, no. Trust
Joel's
nobody.
gonna be happy. I had a KTM for a little while.
Oh, nice. Was it a non-linkage KTM?
It was a 65,
right,
so I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. I was
That
like,
was
that's
before
fine.
they were cool. When they still sucked.
Oh man. Well, thanks for sharing part of your story with us. I know we still didn't get everything from your life and story, but I love this stuff. I just think it's so neat. All the stories of family growing up, and here you're just taking the torch and running with it that your family lit for you. It's just really fun. And thanks for sharing with us, man. But we said it in the beginning. You got something caught in your chain. Can I? I got one that's a little vague, but it just, man, I got to get it off my chest. Can I got, it's a piece of wire. I don't know what it is, but can I tell you what I got caught in my chain right now?
Go for it.
I do construction. Okay. I'm a tile guy, right? So when I come to someone's house, I don't freaking want to be there either. Okay. And it just drives me nuts when I go to someone's house and they just chew my ass up and down about how, are you going to make dust? Are you going to make a mess? Are you going to do this? I'm like, it's effing construction. You tore a room apart. I can't, with a helicopter, fly a new room in. I have to park in your driveway. I have to cut shit. And you know what? When you sweep, that's the dustiest part of the whole damn thing. It's like, don't chew my ass. You're the one that brought me here. It's construction, okay? Like, I can't magically make everything dust-free in your entire house. You brought me here to do construction. I didn't come to write you an opera, okay? You came because you tore a freaking piece of your house out and you want me to replace it, and you're going to chew my ass about making the smallest, and I have a wet saw. I don't even have it's literally not dusty. And I have a dust collector, everything, but they still just on me. And it's just like, you brought me here. I don't want to be here. Keep your old effing shower. I don't need to replace it. It just, damn it. Like, what do you want me to do? If I don't make some dust, you can't get a new shower. Okay. Like, it just drives me. I literally this morning, 45 minutes, guy just chewing my ass. I hadn't even started yet. And I was like, I can leave. You want me to leave? No. And then a little bit later he comes, hey, thanks for being here. It's like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to come back after you just ruined my morning. Hey, is that thing leaking oil? I'm like, no, it does not leak oil. He's like, God, rich. And they're all rich people, So just, oh God, it just drives me. Oh, sorry. That one got,
That's
it just,
rough one.
it's, yeah. I mean, he didn't complain about how tall or how small or big my van was. It's not an epic one like that, but yes, big surprise. Construction in your house can have a little dust. Okay. That's if anybody
crazy.
didn't know that, that's how it goes.
Unreal.
Luke, please have one. Do you have anything caught in your chain, Luke?
No, I mean, I maybe have a small one, but I think I'm going to be out on a limb on this one. But these street bike bros so we're down at Naughty Hog.
Okay.
It would be last week.
Okay.
And we all know this type of person, but they got to get out in front of the bar. We're trying to sit outside, have a nice dinner, and just attempt to do the world's biggest burnout is obviously like it's 100% of the time it's people who have no idea how to ride and can't ride, you know? So he drags out the clutch for about 20 seconds, then realizes it's in neutral. Okay, so then he pulls it back in, puts it in the gear, squeals it for about 2.5 seconds, gets squirrely, looks back, then he comes back and does it again. And it's just, I cannot stand it. I've never met anybody who's actually good on a bike or a dirt bike do a burnout on a street bike.
Yeah.
Like they do not exist. But it just bugged the crap on me because you always see it and it's like, it makes me want to hate motorcycles seeing people like that, which is so bad. But it's always the same type of people too, who have no business even being on a bike.
No, those guys are usually really good riders, I think.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Luke. Lockstep drives me freaking nuts. Oh God. Oh
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of the story was, for people that don't know, you were at the Naughty Hog trying to have a nice supper.
Yeah.
That's why we were sitting outside too.
Yeah. It was probably like Taylor's birthday. You're taking to the Naughty Hog for her birthday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Luke, probably the best caught in your chain ever. That was a good one. 895, anything?
I don't really have too much this week. The only real rough one is I was driving through Minnesota again, and every damn time that you go on a highway, the speed limit's 60 miles an hour, so all these idiots drive 53, and then there's a passing lane, and they all decide to drive 75 until the passing lane ends, and then they go back down to 53. Fuck, it drives me nuts. I can't stand it.
Mud ducks, right, Jack?
Yeah.
He's just taking more stabs at Minnesota, huh?
And to be fair, only in Minnesota, it's just the only roads close by are Minnesota that have passing lanes. Just like going to the point, Joel, between Prescott and Hastings. God. What is it? They drive 45 the whole freaking time until that hill, and then everyone goes 70.
Right. It's like the sign on the bottom of the hill says it very clearly. Slower drivers, you get to the right, but nobody does. Nobody gets to the right.
And then they all try to see who can go 45 miles an hour. If they're not going 70, it's two people. They want to see who can go 45 miles an hour faster than the other one.
Right.
And just park next to each other till the turn lane ends. It got me good this week. I was just drained.
Yeah. Yeah, we could go back to that like every other week. Those get me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one never ends.
I got no patience for that shit.
No.
Yeah. Why aren't these things on the driver's test too? I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
No one explained this stuff to me in the driver's test.
Yeah. If you're not passing someone, get the hell out of the left lane. All right. Plain and simple.
Jack, I mean, you can opt out. Because Luke kind of devastated the crowd with his, but you got anything caught in your chain?
I do.
You do? Okay. This is a first. Is this a first, Luke? Is this a first guest caught in our chain?
First guest.
All right.
Yeah, I think so.
I like it. You're setting a precedence.
All right. So I know that my phone number is on the site for information for when you're looking at troll hogging. I understand that. That's totally fine. But when the information that you're asking me about is either on the flyer, on the website that you just scrolled past, or been posted like 3, 4, 5, 10 times, I don't need a phone call at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. I just appreciate if more people would actually read stuff that you write and take the information from it and do like maybe 2 minutes of research before calling me. But the amount of calls that I get every single year. And then actually I'll add something on top of this. This is caught on my chain even worse than that. People that want to work a Harescramble, you have to understand the district rule that says that you have to put in more than, just race weekend. When people contact me on about, usually Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of race weekend asking if they can work for worker points.
Nice.
And I'm just like, no. I mean, I've already got 80 hours on site.
Right.
Mhm.
Like,
No bueno.
I don't think that, I don't think that it's fair for you to come up here and put in 4 hours of half work and then get your worker points and see you later at 5 p.m. on race day.
Oh, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I feel for you. Yeah, that whole number on the site, right? When you said that, I was like, "Oof, that's a tough one right there."
Yeah, it's like I think.
But if you have a legitimate question that you can't find, by all means, I'm happy to help you out.
And you think
it's like a promoter deal. If you've promoted, you know to just look for the information first and then call. And if you haven't, I think you're just like, I'll just call them.
Right.
But it's we deal with the same stuff through Facebook or through Valley Springs, but it's like all through Facebook Messenger, and some of the questions are like, it's all right in front of you. Like, what's the date? It's like we've posted the date 25 times on the Facebook post.
Do any of the people ask you what you're riding? They might just be lonely. Maybe they just want to talk about bikes. Maybe that's what it is.
I think that's some of it.
Oh, I used to have a Yamaha. I can already hear the conversation. Oh man.
Yep.
I feel for you, Jack. Well, that's why you're doing a big service to everybody. Number one, maybe don't put your number up there. Maybe that's an email situation.
Well, it's just part of the deal.
Wow. Well,
I don't want to discourage it, but if it's obvious, I don't really need the call.
Look first, then ask.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good motto.
And I know that most people are calling you my vintage because that's just in our nature. That's just what we do. There's no 27-year-old calling you. It's all the 40 and 50-year-old guys that, they're still on maybe dial up on their computer, or they don't even have a smartphone, So their buddy printed it out for you.
You hit the nail right on the head there.
I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize for this generation.
Maybe I'm too young for this.
It could be. Or you're not lonely enough, like maybe you get lonely enough and you like the calls, right?
I start calling random people asking if they need information.
I got one more got in my chain, if you don't mind.
Let's hear it.
When you're like at a home center, and don't stop me like when I'm walking fast and I'm in a hurry, and ask me if I need help if you can't freaking help me, okay? Like, I want to so bad do the Ron Swanson where when they stop me and I just want to say, I know more than you, and just keep walking. But every time I'll be like, what are you looking for? Can I help you find something? I'll be like, yeah, I'm looking for 1/4-inch fiber rock. Oh, cement board? Nope, fiber rock. Never heard of it. Got it. I'll be on my way. It's either there or there. Hey, what are you looking? Then they won't let me go. And I'm like, dude, like, you don't even know what I'm asking for. Don't keep the conversation going. I'm trying to get this shit and get out of here. Like, I don't need you to. Oh man. Okay.
It's like going to a hardware store when you're buying something that isn't for its intended use, and they refuse to let you go without help, and you're like, I don't want to sit and explain to you what I'm trying to do with this thing that isn't supposed to be used to do what it is. And I had a similar experience at Menards last night. I was looking for 10 steaks, and he was trying to send me into like something to do with the garden section. I'm like, no,
it's not it.
Like, all right. So I found like huge nails. I'm like, this will work.
Perfect. That'll work.
Especially when you're trying to do something on a dirt bike, and put something on there that's not intended. You go to the auto parts store and they ask you what you're looking for, and it's just like, this is exactly what I need. You don't need to know what it's used for.
I love those memes where it's like the guy at the AutoZone counter, and it's like his mind's like blowing up because the original motor is not in your vehicle. You're trying to find a wiper, and it's like, I'm sorry, a 454 big block does not come in a Tacoma, Oh man. Oh, good stuff. All right. Oh, one other thing. You'd mentioned it, and I just wanted to kind of bring it up, but you're friends with the Robin family, obviously. And man, tragically, Jerry sustained a really bad injury, and we all follow on social media and stuff. And boy, all I've heard is just what an unbelievable person he is, and sounds like he's going at it with the best possible motivation. But do you know, like, if someone just wants to support or help, is there something you can do to kind of help them out?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways you can help out. One of the big ones is an organization called Road Recovery.
Okay. Yep.
They've helped out people like Jesse Nelson, Phil Smaggi, a whole bunch of different athletes that have gotten severely injured.
Nice.
But they have a page on their site for Jerry.
Okay.
You can donate directly there. That will be used mostly for like medical bills, stuff like that. But if you want to donate to Jerry directly and put money right in his pocket, I don't know if it's been really posted anywhere, but people can reach out to me if they want to, and I'll give them his Venmo.
Okay.
You can send it right there. And then actually I'm having some shirts made
Oh, nice.
right now for Jerry.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
those will be ready in probably a couple of weeks, I would assume.
Oh, sweet.
So those will be
Nice.
for sale, and everything from that'll go to him. So
Nice.
Cool.
Very generous.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man, it just sucks so bad. Like, you hear all the other riders talking about it, and it's just the smallest, simple little mistake. It's just the edge that those guys at that level live on. They're just asking so much out of
Mhm.
themselves and their equipment. It's just tragic.
yeah, it's definitely a bummer, especially with how small of a mistake it can be that can lead to that stuff.
Right.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and with the spinal cord injury, it's really tough because there's not a lot that you can do to like push through it. It's more of a it depends on the case.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, Jerry's, it seems like he's really, really positive. Like, he's got high hopes to walk again, which I think is really important. Like, he's staying up positive and keeping a good mindset.
Right.
And I mean, the more support that we can get for him, I mean, not just monetary, but just posting stuff.
Right.
And send him a message, and just keep it positive. And yeah.
Mhm.
Let them know this community loves them. And man, that's please, like, when you get those shirts ready, let us know so we can help you try to sell you right out of them. That'd be awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, dang, very cool. Thanks for what you're doing for him. And you've posted that you donated some money from at the GP you're at with Logan. And thanks for
Yeah.
helping just extend that network of people that want to help. That means a lot. But most of all, just tonight, thank you for sharing all your story. But Jack, just the story tonight, so awesome. Thank you so much. All these sports that you're involved with, you push them up, right? Like the photography, riding in them, promoting in them, just letting people know how freaking awesome dirt bikes are and the community that we live in with them. Dude, just thank you. Our sports, they live on shoulders of men like you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you do for the sports. And please let us know whatever we can do to pimp out that 100 photo merch at all times.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do it because I love it. I mean, in all aspects, it's the only reason to do it, isn't it? We're not making money.
I mean, it'd make good story if you could put $8.95 in the weeds next race too, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I can try my best, but
All right.
no promises.
Jack, keep being you. We'll talk later.
Come on, my mama told me one day I'ma grow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to sit when shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, cause they'll get you through this.